Okay, now you older guys, pumping's number one. The second option that you have is manualing. And what I mean by manualing is basically wheeling the jumps, okay? Now the trick is, the setup is going to be the same, okay? I didn't cover this before. You want to pedal all the way up to the jump, okay? We don't want to stop pedaling way back here because someone else is going to pedal right past us. So we want to pedal all the way up to the jump, but you want to stop in time to get your pedals nice and level, get relaxed, okay? You want to always stay relaxed. If you're stiff when you hit the jump, you can't use your arms and legs as the shocks. You're just going to be locked out, okay? You're going to be out of control. So you want to pedal up to the jump, but then stop in time, get your crank set level. You never want to hit the jump when your crank's up and down, because if you lean over just a bit and your pedal catches the jump, it will flip you right over like that. Does that ever happen to anyone? Yeah. Anyone? I bet you learned. See? When that happens to you, you learn real quick that your pedal doesn't need to be in that position. So we want to make sure our pedals are nice and level as we go over the top of the jump, okay? So, as you get a little older and get a little faster, it's going to be really hard to keep both wheels on the ground. So what starts happening is you go too fast, you kind of jump a little bit, and that's not smooth. So that's when you move to option number 2, and that's what we call manualing. So you're going to pedal all the way up to the jump the same way that we did before. Get your pedals nice and level, but as your front wheel comes up the top, you're going to lean back a little bit, and you want to push on the pedals, and that's going to push your bike up into a wheelie. Now you got to be really careful. This is the trickiest way to get over anything. It's harder than jumping, and a lot of times it's faster, but it is tricky, because if you push it too hard, what happens? We loop out right under our booties, and we don't want to do that. So you gotta, the best trick that I know of is to keep a finger on the brake, and if you think you're gonna go too far, just hit the brakes a little bit. It will bring your front end down. So the trick to manualing, you want to push the bike away and lean back enough to get the front end up, but you want it to stay up just long enough to get here, okay? We don't want it to come down right here, because that's going to slow you down, right? And it's going to be rough, and it could make you fall. But we don't want to keep it up too far, because if we go over with in a wheelie like this, there's a good chance of looping out there again, okay? Now, like I said, that's the trickiest way you can take a jump, and it takes a lot of practice. And the best way I found to practice is just to do it on the street out here. Just lean back, pick the front end up, and try to wheelie for a while without pedaling. And that's when you got to find that balance point, okay? Where you're not falling frontward, but you're not going over backwards either. It's really hard, and it's going to take a lot of practice, but you guys can do it. So Jeff will show you exactly what I mean when we say manual in the jump. Remember, we're pedaling all the way up to it, then we're going to relax, get the pedals level. As the front end comes over the top, we just lean back a little, push the bike away a little bit with the pedals, and set the front end down right on the back side of the second one. Just like that. See, that's the trickiest way you can do it, but it's really fast, and that's what you're going to have to start doing when you get a little bigger, a little faster, and you can't keep both wheels on the ground. Remember what we're here to do. The trickiest way is not always the best way, okay? We're here to get to the finish line first. And so when we talk about the different ways of getting over a jump, whether it be pumping with both wheels, or manualing, or even jumping, you have to figure out which way is going to work best for you. Some people are better at jumping than others, some are better at manualing, you know, and some are faster just pumping with both wheels. That's something that you have to figure out for yourself, because each of you is going to have your own strengths and weaknesses, okay? So it could be faster, but you have to test it out. All right, now next we're going to move to jumping, okay? Now jumping is probably everyone's favorite thing to do. I know that's why I got into jumping. I mean, into BMX, I don't know if you guys even know Evel Knievel. He's a daredevil. He used to jump motorcycles. You know, that's what I wanted to do growing up. I'm looking at guys jumping their bicycles and motorcycles, and I go, that's cool, that's what I want to do. So, that's the third and final way of getting over jumps. The problem is, with racing, jumping is not always the fastest, okay? It might be the coolest, and it might look the coolest, but it's not always the fastest. So what are we here to do?
Get to the finish line.
We're here to win races. So, like I said before, you have to figure out what's fastest for you. Okay, so when it comes to jumping, guys, The setup is always the same. You pedal all the way up to the jump, okay? As close as you can, but then you have to still have time, remember, to get your pedals nice and level and get relaxed, okay? So, you're gonna pedal all the way up to the jump and then really relax. Now, when you're jumping something, you have to remember, you wanna keep your bike level. You don't wanna jump like this, right? Because what happens when we land like this, we loop out, right? And we don't wanna come in front wheel first, because what happens if we come up short?
You fall over.
We go over the bars. So when you're jumping, you guys need to remember, keep your bikes nice and level, and you want to land on the landing at the same angle as the landing. So you're going to come in like this, nice and smooth. If you do it right, you shouldn't even hear yourself land too much. You just hear the buzz of your tires. So, I don't know which one you want to jump first to. All right, so check it out. Just coming out of the turn, you're going to pedal all the way up to the jump. Keeping the bike nice and level. Right through there, okay? Now remember what I said, jumping's not always the fastest. So we have to figure out on our own which is gonna be the best way through, okay? All right, any questions on that? Anyone?